The Kingdom of Bhutan is the quintessential picture of serenity. An idyllic remote terrain landlocked by the majestic Himalayas. Its calm and picturesque surroundings soothe many a weary soul from across the globe. Little wonder then that the people of this breathtaking country have grown up inculcating a revered relationship with Mother Nature. Their rich cultural heritage and colorful traditions, dating back centuries, form the sacred thread that binds them to each other and to their motherland. For ages, Bhutan had remained untouched by foreign influences. The concept of money as a medium of exchange was practically alien to the people of Bhutan, with the barter system forming the foundation of all trade and commerce. Over time, this archaic economic system created a landscape of inequality that held the nation back from embarking on the path to progress. It was His Majesty, the third Duke Gyalpo, Jigme Dorji Wangchuk, who harbored the ambitious dream of seeing his country walk shoulder to shoulder with the changing times. He knew that replacing the obsolete barter system with a formal monetized economy was imperative to catalyze change and usher in a new era of growth and modernization. Under his visionary leadership, in May 1968, a momentous decision was taken. The country's first banking institution, Bank of Bhutan, was established by a royal charter as a joint venture with the Chartered Bank, Calcutta. The emblem of the royal government of Bhutan was adopted as the bank's symbol, and the first branch was strategically opened in Phinsoling, a frontier town that at the time was a key player in facilitating thriving business links with India. Leading by example, His Majesty, the third Duke Gyalpo, became the first account holder at the bank, and following in his footsteps, 20 other people also opened accounts in the bank on the very same day. The Chartered Bank deputed an Englishman, Mr. John Roger Stansfield Holmes, to set up operations as manager at Phinsoling. The ball was set rolling with the first meeting of the Board of Directors, which was held on the 5th of August 1968, to discuss the key topics of capital, power of attorney, staffing, and submission of annual returns. As is the case with any new venture, the commencement of banking operations was an interesting learning curve. Tikchung, a coin with a face value of 50 paisa, was the currency of Bhutan at that time. So when people began coming in with bags full of tikchungs every day, counting became a daunting task for the bank.
About this tikchung, that I think I'll always remember how it used to keep us in the bank sometimes till 8 o'clock at night. So for counting the tikchung, we had this folding board, and on each side the board would hold 250 coins. The holes had been made so that in each hole just one tikchung will fit. So we pour the coins over this board. Then with your hand we have to spread it out so that each coin will go into each slot.
The ordeal ended when an American company supplied a small counting machine that could count loads of tikchungs at a time without any error. In a sense, this was Bank of Bhutan's first step towards automation. The wheels of trade and commerce started turning, and within just 3 years of its inception in 1971, Bank of Bhutan partnered with State Bank of India for capital and management. Since the beginning, Bank of Bhutan had always been a custodian of change in the kingdom. Consequently, in 1972, when His Majesty, the 4th Duke Gyalpo Jigme Singye Wangchuk, announced his unique concept of measuring progress with gross national happiness and set targets for socio-economic development of the country, Bank of Bhutan became a catalyst in this transformation. As trade and commerce started developing, the time had come for the currency to evolve as well. On 6th April 1974, Bhutan issued its first currency note, signed by Dasho Yeshi Dorji, the first Bhutanese deputy managing director. Slowly, banking started to penetrate every aspect of life in the kingdom. To inculcate the habit of savings among people, an interest rate of 3% on deposits was offered. Loans were provided to traders, industrialists, artisans, and agriculturists. Finance was also given to the transport sector and for the export of horticultural produce to Bangladesh and other neighboring countries.
해방하기 패스멤버 주지 대래 차주지 대래다 대래 뼈주다이 대안이 다른 아버지 뼈다 차지라미 다 디니디 뱀배도디 제가 말할래 뱀배데 공 알루술에다 알루술기 라뱀배시베데 다도 선수 뱀배데 사기 디데가 가짐서 아진 좀베데 마지나 조르 해말 보게메다 라샤유니디 디가 생에까지 뱀배소다 유니세프에서 정도로 유니세프 차디 아이덴소 가게 아이덴 중에서도 또 유니세프가 가닥되게 되고 제대로 디스를 공기 더 숨당하는 이게 미신디수다. 제 공기 아이덴의 가라디 팩트 모듈을 공기 게임이라. 제가 공기 로장아 주루순수 공기 로런베비 제대로 아이덴티다 미신이 공 유니세프 로런베비 대신디수 디루주야 백날레 대가를 렉점다 대가를 들어봄 도와진 아이메 대바와진데 실리게리 메조에 대니 조다로 디보다 백날레는 마 고tum다 백날레 주주비 다도서 다 론에 주도대 다 론주도대 백날레 백날베들 라베디 다 고주가 senda gada deomi biobicida labeila.
A momentous landmark in the journey of Bank of Bhutan arrived in 1993, when the bank celebrated its silver jubilee with great pomp and fervor. The bank had put into motion a branch expansion program in the 80s, which continued to pick up steam through the 90s, and by the year 2013, the bank had achieved the commendable milestone of covering all the 20 zonkhags.
관계 가톨레들이 같이 게르델루 컴페타니 날루들이 남에서메 펜도 bomba를 중요했으니 펜도 좀메디 가짐서 가진 다른 나바 로추함 내지게 나고 날루 됐다 나라기 냠녀다 팁다디디 펜조 컴페타리 게르기 남에서메 조라추가 됐어요 레샤라추 데디 충구디세 됐다 찬염라 해마 뜨루 bombe 템메 차잡디 다른 나바 입지 사야사야베 사야 템메스 입지 사야 자자고베 네베 저데 다니 보달루 게데 컴페티티 남에서미 bombe라서이 펜다 bombe를 중요히 쓰니 이하기 이하 맵도 주고 어째 게데 컴페타는 날루디 강에 남에서미 bombe를 이 베네 마탑라도 남에서미 강에 이한레 텐데베 같이 게데수 컴페 bombe라서이 같이 게데레 텐데베 이한수게 캡사디 남에서미 레짐바라 조축지 있으시니.
Pioneering efforts were simultaneously being made in embracing technology. And the end of the century also saw the bank computerizing all its accounts, an important step in guiding Bhutan into the modern era.
I think the biggest challenge that my colleagues and I faced was the issue of moving from the old banking system to the CBS, the core banking system, modernizing the functioning of the bank and introducing the digital banking to Bhutan. All of us were new to the technology, and so there was a lot of trepidation, and especially given the huge investment costs. So there was a huge risk that was hanging over our heads. But at the same time, we felt that it was necessary to undertake and make a move and make the financial investment and the decision to go through with it.
When the technology was rolled out and the corporate vision has been implemented, The profit of the bank in 2007, it went from 167 million to about 410 million in 2010. So you could see sort of a huge jump in terms of profit in the bank. And then, of course, associated with that was the efficient services delivery in terms of having internet banking services, SMS banking services, which we could not implement in the past, but because of the core technology now all these are possible.
I think it started with the introduction of the CBS, which gave us a platform to introduce a lot of technological initiatives. One of the first ones I think that we are very proud of is the MBOB, the mobile banking initiative that we started 2 years ago, which has been very successful. And riding on that, we have also introduced the BOB Connect agency banking, which I think it serves the general public in the wider regions, and that is, I think, best way for us to promote financial inclusion, because it's a very cost-effective manner, and Bhutan being a very mountainous terrain, opening brick and mortar branches is quite expensive, and even our population concentrations are quite small. So you don't have the critical mass in a lot of places. So this initiative of BOB Connect through agency banking, I think that has served us very well. Together with that, we've also been able to introduce a lot of ATMs all over the country. We have almost 100 ATMs now. We have introduced cash deposit machines and all. So a lot of initiatives have been taken, as well as we are still the largest bank, and we are serving, I think, about 250,000 customers. So in that manner, I think being the bank of the nation means a lot to Bank of Bhutan.
The Bank of Bhutan employees were very receptive to the approach that the bank took. The bank board took. The board spent and decided to take a policy decision to spend at least 5% of its operating expenses every year on human resource development. And because of that, the management and the whole team in every division had to make a plan of how they are going to use that money for the future development. And that encouraged the people that they saw a future in the bank, and everybody started working harder.